So this is my data dictionary. First I have to write down data dictionary for student database because I'm going to create a data dictionary for my student database. Then you have to write down the entity name. So in my case it's going to be student entity, and you have to describe what's that entity means. So in our AR diagram, a student represents student data and particulars. So you have to write down here student contains student details and particulars. And the first row contains the first column contains the field name, the second one description, third one data type, fourth one field properties. So whether it's with the format, the validation, the input mask or the default value. And the last one is going to contain the key type and the related tables, in the sense whether the field is a primary key or a foreign key. If it's a foreign key, the related table. I told you that I'm going to create a data dictionary for my student table. So what I have to do is I have to go back to my student ER diagram. Then I have to copy my first field and paste it in the student field name. So I have to write student code is my first one. The second one is going to be my course code. So the next row I'm going to write my course code. So likewise for each of these rows you have to copy and paste this each field from ER diagram. As you see now, I have copied all my field names into my data dictionary. Telephone number until telephone number. The next thing you have to do is you have to describe what this each field means. So if you look at the student code, you can simply say the unique identification number of the students. So if you go to course code, you can simply say a unique identification number for the course. If you go here, you can simply say student name. Likewise, you have to describe each of these fields, what that mean. So now I have described each of my field. The next thing you have to do is you have to describe the data type for each of these fields. What is the data type? Basically, in order to recognize the data type for each of these fields, you have to see the values each of these fields. If you look at student code, it contains the numbers. If you look at course code, it also contains the numbers. So if you look at student name, it contains the text type values. If you look at title, it again contains the text type values. So likewise, you have to recognize the values for each of these fields. You know that we are going to create this database in Access 2007. So you have to be familiar with the data types in Access. There are different data types in Access. We'll go through some of these data types. The first one is auto number. Is a number and it increases automatically for you. So you don't have to insert the value into it. It will just automatically for you. So normally as a primary keys you can set as auto number. The next one is a text type. So it contains both the values and the text. The memo contains the larger version of the text field. The next one is a number type. So it contains the number data types. The next one is a date and time. So suppose if you want to store your date of birth, so you can use that field as a date time field. The currency stores the currency data type, and yes no field stores like true or false values. For example, suppose if you want to indicate whether you paid the bill or you paid the invoice, you can just tick or untick the box. So likewise, you have different types of data types available in 2007. Now let's go back to our data dictionary. So let's try to indicate the data type for each of these fields. My first one is a student code. So I can simply say my data type is an auto number. So it automatically increases the values for you whenever you enter a new record. The next one is a course code. It's going to be number. You cannot have, since this course code is a foreign key for this table, you cannot set foreign keys as auto number. It has to be number. If you look at the student name, it contains the text type values. So we can simply say is a text. The title even we can simply say is a text. So likewise, identify the data type by looking at the values in each of these fields. So now if I look at my table, my student code is auto number, course code is a number, student name is a text, student title is a text, gender is a text, date of birth is a date and time, address is a text, postcode is a text, telephone number is a text. I haven't set telephone number as a number type because in Access database normally the phone number starts with 079078. If you indicate this one as a number type, whenever you store a value starting from 0, it omits the first digits of your phone number. So the data is going to be entered into the database is going to be wrong if you mention this particular telephone number to be number. But if you enter this one as a text, that means it automatically identify the first digits as 0 as well. Okay, the next one is the field properties. Let me come back to this one later. Let's look at the key tab and the related tables. In order to look at the key tab and related tables, you have to go back to your AR diagram. If you go back to AR diagram, you can say the primary key for your student entity is a student code. The foreign key is course code, which comes from course table. The others are going to be non-keys. So if I go back to my data dictionary again, so I know this student code is my primary key. So simply you can say this is your primary key. So your student's code is going to be your foreign key. So as we saw in the AR diagram, the course code is a foreign key. So simply you can say course code is your foreign key and it's related to your course table because the course code is a primary key in the course table, but it refers as a foreign key in your student table. So the student name, title, gender, date of birth and all other fields becomes your non-key. You can leave these particular rows as blank.